Okay, so this is the robot I've been working on in CAD today. I've been sick this week, so yeah, it's kind of sucked. But um, here's the current progress of the CAD. It's by no means complete. It's just at a milestone point where I'm just gonna show what I have so far and get comments and feedback. So let's start out with the drivetrain. This drivetrain is very similar to the other one we did. Um, The difference is that the big difference is that this one has a ground clearance of 3.223 inches, so like 3.25 inches, compared to the other drivetrain's ground clearance of 2.8 inches. So this will hopefully allow us to clear the crater and all materials without getting stuck ever. So that should be pretty awesome. The reason we're able to do this is because we mounted the motors in a very unique fashion, where we have the motor actually kind of like we have the motor like in between the rev bar, like the axle going here. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it allowed us to decrease the or increase our clearance, but decrease the height of our frame. So those are two positives for us. Okay, but yeah, drivetrain is very similar from before. Still using Mechanism. Mechanism's amazing. Okay, the intake is the one we already built. We've tested it. It seems to work pretty well. The only way I've really tested is on the robot, but we see that. Um, Next thing is the lift. So what the lift does is that the lift goes up, down, and up and down and up and down. So that allows us to, let's say we're going here, we're gonna go collect some blocks. Our next step is to fold our intake up, and then raise this, and then boom, score by rotating this bucket from here to there, and boom, we're scored. I don't have the sorting mechanism in CAD yet. This can allow the balls to go to one side, the blocks go to the other side, but I'll do that next. I also don't have the hooks that we're going to climb with on the robot, and I don't have the stringing mechanism for our lift. So how the lift is powered is that we have these two motors in the back. The reason they're in the back is so we don't tip as much, hopefully. It's a 10-2 sprocket. These are rev orbitals. So that's a 10-2 sprocket going to a 15-2 sprocket on the same axle as another 15-2 sprocket that goes to a 15-2 sprocket up here. And attached to that sprocket, we have this huge lift. I don't know why it's struggling, the cat model. Okay, so the chain is physically attached to this rev rail right here. So we literally screw the chain into the rev rail. And that means that when the chain moves, this thing is going to lift up and down. And that's basically copied on the same side. I just don't have this thing on this side because I forgot, but whatever. So, so that's the power of this stage. If we want to, or yes, this stage. There we go. I don't know why it's struggling, but okay. If we want to power the other stages, we have to string it in a cascading fashion. So what that is what I think it is. Patrick, please tell me if I'm wrong, but we have string mounted on this rev rail, and then we have it on a pulley on this one at the top, and then attached to the bottom of this one. So that would do is that when this, okay, okay, fine, just okay, that seems to work, but me doing that one doesn't work. Okay, so when that happens is that when this one goes up, this distance will increase, which will then pull this one up. I think that's how it works. Please tell me if I'm wrong, because then I might need to redo my cross bracing, because I currently have quite a bit of cross bracing on this to make sure nothing bends. Every stage has at least, well, this stage has two pieces of cross bracing. Um, that static stage has this thing and the axle, so that's probably pretty good. And the last stage has this and this. So I think it's pretty good. Okay. Okay, so that's the elevator. According to calculations, we should be able to lift the whole robot up in less than 2 seconds, and we should be able to lift the elevator up for scoring in less than 1 second. Um, probably in less than, probably like 3/4 of a second, if not less than that. So yeah, everything should be extremely fast, um, which is what we need for this game. Um, so for electronics, I was going to mount the electronics here like we did last time with the other drivetrain, but since I moved the motors, they don't fit anymore. So what I'm thinking is that we should mount the electronics in the back, mounted vertically, attached to this rev rail right here. Have them like mounted like right there. What that will do is that it moves more weight into the back because each rev hub is 11 ounces, or like 0.6 pounds. Plus, if we have all the wiring and stuff for them in the back too, that adds even more weight, so decreasing our chances of tipping. And then we can mount our phone right here along with, that should not be doing that. Okay, we should mount our phone here along with the other servo, along with the servo power module things. And come to think of it, this robot only has one servo on it right now. We probably need another one for the T marker and maybe some other stuff, but it's super simple. But yeah, I have all 8 motors mounted, and they're all orbitals, which I love. Okay, how am I doing on time? Pretty good. So yeah, let me think what else. So the lift, it has this big uh, support piece that is under 12 inches. At least I think it is. Let me test that real quick. It's at 11.5 inches, so we can make it under the crater. What would not make it under the crater is this thing up here, which is fine, I think. But that means when we hit, we're gonna hit with this thing. So, I'm not sure if I currently have this, but this piece is gonna hit, and this 3D printed piece, I might make it longer so that hits too. So we don't have any of our chain hitting, because that doesn't seem very good when we hit the rover. Okay, what else do I need to say about the robot? But yeah, it's a very open robot. It's a pretty light robot. I was thinking about the tilting the elevator back, and yeah, there's if we tilt the elevator back like any useful amount, we're going to have another stage in the elevator. Right now we have two, and right now with two, we get up to um, let's see, we get up to 33.847 inches, right? So, and the rover is at like 30 inches, I think. So we're like 3.5 inches over. So, if you're stringing this, the way we're stringing this, the elevator probably is not going to reach up that high. It's going to reach up a little bit short. So I'm guessing like 32 and a half. And then the rest of that, so the other 2.5 inches is going to be used to gravity feed the balls into the scorer. Because if you think about it, if the rover's like right here, right, you can't actually get the balls in there because they don't want to go horizontally. There's nothing wanting them to go horizontally. So if you can make this do that and have like the rover like right or the yeah they just call it the rover right here, then gravity will want this to go down and do that stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please say them.